Rob and Robbo.
Streaming across the globe, Ben Norris, Rob McKnight, and David Robinson.
Ben, Rob and Robbo. News, reviews, entertainment too. It's the Ben, Rob and Robbo. Ben, Rob and Robbo Show. Ben, Rob and Robbo Show.
Welcome to the Ben, Rob and Robbo Show. Here's Rob McKnight.
Hello and welcome to Eye on Big Brother. I had to take a drink because Reggie's sworn already. So that's just how it rolls here at the Ben, Rob and Robbo Show. And look, warning. This presentation contains spoilers about tonight's episode of Big Brother, including information on who was evicted. As always, Ben Norris and David Robinson are with me. Hello, boys.
Hello there.
What I am excited about is we met a new housemate tonight. There's a guy called Xavier who's entered the house, and tonight...
Rob. I hate to interrupt. I believe that his name is Ellen or Katie Lang or Melissa Etheridge. I don't understand. I don't believe his name is whatever you just said.
Look, come on, you're just jealous. No, Robbo, can I just pipe down Chachi for a minute here? I just want to quickly say something to you. Are you jealous because he's a little bit more attractive than you? Is that what's going on?
No. Can I tell you wholeheartedly? I mean, there's that, and I will accept that. But the fact is that he has been a nothing. He has been, the shell at the bottom of the ocean. The waves haven't touched, and all of a sudden we're seeing him boring. Nothing there. Bland.
Robbo, tonight he blossomed like a flower and he came out of his shell. And you know what I want? I want to get the people's princess on the line to find out what she thinks. Let's bring on in Reggie Sorensen. Hello, Reggie.
Hello, Reggie.
Hello, boys. How are you?
The new housemate Xavier.
Well, I don't know. Now that he's actually spoken, I don't think it really suits him, to be honest.
Oh, that is the best. That is the best review of a housemate I've ever heard. Reggie is the people's princess. Absolutely.
Actually, that's going to be your new name, Reggie,
weird.
the people's princess. I'll drink to that. Well done,
Oh,
the people's
okay.
princess.
Oh, look. Well,
I just want to quickly
Mary
say...
from Tassie. Can I have Princess Reggie? Yeah, Princess Mary, Reggie.
I think that's... Princess Reggie sounds absolutely fantastic. I think we need someone to start the hashtag on the bottom of the screen. That'd be amazing. Hey, I just want to come to Xavier's defense right now. I think he's cute. I think he's actually made a presence in the house. My partner, Ben, who is very lovely.
As shit.
Hang on.
He is
let
so
him finish his
boring.
thought, Robbo.
Sorry.
Okay. How much do we drink before this show? Because maybe I need to catch up. Do I need to have a few shots or?
No. I've said this before. For every show that we've ever done, I've said that Ellen DeGeneres in the house is boring as shit.
Yes, because we haven't
Prove
got
me
to
wrong.
know him. Now we are, in these coming episodes with fewer people in the house, we are getting to know him. But Ben, what did Ben say?
Oh, Ben's
I'll get it
Ben's
back
in the
up.
other room, fully erect.
The Titanic.
Hey, can I just say, Ben's in the other room, fully erect over Xavier. He thinks he's so sexy. He's the hottest Big Brother housemate of all time. He's going to kill me that I said that about him in the other room because, spoiler alert, Ben doesn't like Big Brother. So my partner has put up with a lot being my partner over these years. I just force him to watch Big Brother every now and again. And he's living for Xavier and think he's the best thing about the show.
Well, look, you can join the conversation tonight by using the hashtag BRRShow on Twitter or by going to facebook.com/BRRShow. We want to hear your comments. We will be getting to your comments and we will be asking some of the questions you post on those pages. But Ben, why don't you bring us up to speed with who are our special guests on tonight's show?
I actually could not be more excited about these two people. Shane from this current series is definitely in my top 5 housemates. And I know that I often say this, but right from the start, someone leaked me a photo of him before he was on the show. Obviously, there's been stuff in the media about those leaks, but I saw a leaked photo of him very early on, and he's a very attractive man. I know a lot of people were saying that he's got a dad bod, but I'm telling you, that's life goals right there, my friend. And also joining us is amazing Hall of Famer Tully. Tully was in the 2013 series. No one's ever forgot who she is because she is all over social media. Not only is she one of the most attractive people to look at, but she has a personality and she's just so so much fun to hang out with, which every now and again I get really drunk and she tells me to go away. Anyways, introducing our two guests. We have Shane from 2020 and we have Tully from 2013.
Yay!
Hey guys.
Alrighty. I'm going to quickly do this because I want to get this out of the way because it makes me really nervous. Because when I talk to people I actually know in the outside world, I'm always worried that I'm going to offend them. And I'm sure Tully's already thinking I'm going to offend her. So, like, you know, let's just get this going.
I'm like,
I know.
What could you possibly say to me that you haven't already said to me one night and moved me now? Like, what on earth are you about to say to me?
I'm going to make it as PG as possible. But I just want to say, Tully, Tully, tell us, what was the Big Brother experience like for you in 2013?
I mean, how long do we have? Like, how long does this show go for?
5 years. 5 years, go. No, 7 years, as long as you've been out of the show. No, if you could summarize it, you know, like I know that you can do because you're a very intelligent woman. How would you summarize your experience in 2013?
Look, I had the time of my life. You know, it's funny. I think a lot of people often ask me, you know, one of the most common questions is, would you do it again? And I think because of what happened after the fact, they assume I'd say absolutely not, hell no. But I had a ball in there. Like, I literally had the time of my life. It was a whirlwind. I don't want to use the word roller coaster because we know that's really overused when talking about reality TV journeys. But yeah, it was a whirlwind, but I wouldn't change a thing. Like, I often watch my highlights video sometimes and I'm feeling a bit down because it makes me smile every single time. I just had a ball.
You are the absolute reminder, though, of why Big Brother was what it was back in its heyday. We got to know who you were. We went on a journey with you. You entered the show in a relationship with a woman and you did end up in a relationship with a man. And Australia watched that unfold. Some people could blame you when it came to Drew because, you know, he's a good-looking guy. He's a good-looking rooster, as they say. But, oh, I tell you what, I'm getting all hot and sweaty just thinking about him. But what was the blowback for you coming off the show, considering that relationship evolved in front of the nation?
Yeah, it was immense. I knew it would be pretty tough. I probably didn't realize just the gravity of the situation. I remember the psychologist, when I was first off stage with Sonia, said to me, look, there's been a lot of backlash, both from the public and from the media. He had to let me know that there was a Facebook group with like 60,000 members that like were posting death threats and horrible memes about me. Worse than that, you know, I was called name in the streets. I had paparazzi stalking me. I had countless online trolls, Twitter trolls, Facebook trolls. I was getting awful emails sent to me. My family were copying it. So yeah, it was pretty severe.
Do you know what I have to say really quickly? And that is, you controlled the narrative like nobody I've ever seen in reality TV. Whenever I find someone and I come across them on social media or in real life and I hear that they're struggling with their reality TV experience, I tell them how amazing, like it almost brings tears to my eyes, how amazing you were. You had a huge backlash, but you 100% controlled the narrative. Where did you find the energy? How did you do it?
Do you know what? I appreciate that. And I know that you've always backed and supported me. I know we've spoken off air a lot about how I handled the aftermath, but honestly, it wasn't so much about controlling the narrative. I think that would imply that I had a grand plan, or, you know, I'd sat down at one point and thought, okay, now how do I move forward? I honestly just thought, okay, I fucked up. I made a mistake. All I can possibly do is admit that I fucked up, apologize to people that matter.
Tully, did you fuck up? I mean, you're a person with feelings. I don't understand the issue here. I understand that you had a girlfriend and being in a relationship and finding a relationship in the house. I get there can be some backlash to that, but there seemed to be a lot of backlash because you dare be in a same-sex relationship and then go the other way while you're in the house. Why is that a fuck up? You know, people have.
Yeah, I think that was what was tricky for me, is that I totally would have been understanding had the backlash been because I'd cheated on my partner. I understand that, and I also agree with that. But unfortunately, a lot of, especially the online trolling, they were angry that had been with a male. It was more about
the issue, right?
they felt that the issue was quite varied. It was very
Right.
subjective. Certain people were angry about different things, but it definitely felt overall that had I started a relationship with a female housemate rather than Drew, I'm not sure the backlash would have been quite so
Do you find that
poisonous.
extraordinary, and where does that come from? Is that because being part of a minority in same-sex relationships, there's a bit of a feeling that you need to be part of the sisterhood, and you need to show that we can't flip? You obviously are someone who judges people on their personality or looks, and you don't just say, well, I have to be female, I can be female, male. You seem someone who's actually very true to themselves. Why is that so offensive to people?
I think it was a case of, and I know this more now with hindsight because I was able to speak to Talia, my ex-partner, and sort of read things that were happening whilst I was already in the show. But I think, especially back then, guys, it was a long time ago now. It was 2013, so 7 years ago. There weren't a whole lot of representation, especially I think of bisexual and lesbians. I mean, obviously Ben Norris came before me, and we had quite gay housemates. In terms of bisexual housemates, I mean, Ben Norris, you'd know this better than me, but I don't think we had another bisexual before me. I'm not sure if that's correct statistically, but I'm pretty sure I was the first bisexual female housemate that we had. And I think that they were really hopeful, that they put a lot of trust in me to represent the community, and they felt personally let down. And that's something that I still struggle with, because the last thing in the world I would ever want to do is let down my queer community. I did a lot of work for my queer community before the show. I've done work for them since, in terms of, advocating for them and supporting them in every way I can. And so to feel, for them as a community to feel as if I'd gone and let them down, that was just a whole other layer of crap that I had to deal with as a 25-year-old.
Tully,
Well, I don't want to hold you to this. I
years-
just really, sorry, Rob. Sorry to jump in there. And I just want to quickly say to Tully, we certainly don't want to boil you down to a moment that happened over 3 months in 2013. Nobody has ever been held accountable in their life 7 years later. So look, I think you've come a long way since that moment. I think that if anyone could redeem themselves, if that is a real thing, you've absolutely redeemed yourself with who you are. Is the LGBTI thing even that much of a big deal? Like, I felt quite disgusted, to be honest, that anyone even cared because it was an LGBTI person in the show. Like, who gives a, I'm sorry to swear, but who gives a fuck? Like, at the end of the day, you're a real person who is in a loving relationship. You found somebody else. You had feelings for them. You wanted to explore that. Guess what? That happens all the time. So why did people feel the need to make a big issue about it?
There are ways and ways to go about it. Like, I could have waited. I think that's the point. I could have waited. It's funny because my dad, I think, was the one that said, he said something like, and it was tongue in cheek, but I think he said, for a community that's all about acceptance and, welcoming people in, they're sure as fuck quick to kick them out, aren't they? And I was like, yeah, that's kind of what it feels like. They were like, yes, come in. And then they're like, no, fuck off. Yes, Reggie.
At the end of the day, what's better, doodle or a fanny?
Oh, God.
What do you like?
Oh, God. Oh, here we go. Oh, wow. We're there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah.
What's better, cake or donuts? Like, they're both great for different reasons,
That's a fair point, Tully.
Oh, that's
agree
a
with
good
Ben.
answer. That's a good
it is
answer. I've never tried cake.
Um,
I
You
don't
should
know
give it a
what's
go,
what.
Reggie.
it's a very good point,
Yeah.
Tully. And Shane, we are going to come to you in a moment.
Neither do I.
That's
Tully,
all right. I'm enjoying the
The
chat.
question I wanted to ask you before Ben had his say was that I agree that we're not defining you by one moment over 3 months. But what I wanted to ask you is, when you were answering that question of mine, you seemed actually to be getting emotional about it. And I was actually going to say, this is an event from 7 years ago, but the emotion I see on your face is very real, and still it seems very raw. And it does seem like, as much as you've done these amazing things, you're with Mamma Mia, you've done all these things in your career since leaving the Big Brother house, and yet this moment does seem to have such a a grip on you, and I could see the emotion on your face when you were talking about that, because obviously you dealt with a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel silly because it has been so long, but it's still something that very much still affects me. It's still something that I'm working through with psychologists. I still haven't quite forgiven myself for it. So I think knowing that personally, knowing how I feel about that personally, in that I still feel very disappointed with myself and angry with myself, it makes all the trolls and stuff, that much more painful, because I'm already punishing myself. Like, no one could, trust me when I say that no one could have been angrier with me than I was with myself. And then so to have all of that public backlash, it was almost unbearable. But yeah, you're right. It does. It gets me in the throat every time.
I can see it on you. And
yeah, but I think it always will. And that's just because I'm actually, end of the day, not a shitty person. I've never cheated before. It was not something that I ever thought I would be capable of doing. So, but that house makes you do crazy things, doesn't it, everybody?
Yeah, well, that's the thing.
Well, Tully,
in a confined place, and Ben can certainly talk to that. But I just think you're beating yourself up over something that happened. We all make mistakes, and look, we all do beat ourselves up. But well, all I'll say is you're amongst friends here, and we love you and think you're great. Otherwise, we wouldn't have asked you on the show, and we were very keen to get you on the show. So, welcome to Eye on Big Brother anyway, Belle.
Thanks.
One of the most, can I just say though, you are easily one of the most celebrated housemates of all time. That controversy, obviously does become a shadow for you. But at the end of the day, I just remember you going into that show on launch night, and I just thought, in the 2013 series, and I still stand by this, you were the most authentic, you were the most real, and sometimes that polarized its audience, but that's when I fall in love with Big Brother. I just want to quickly say, though, somebody who I know who is highly emotionally intelligent is my friend Robbo, and, Robbo's, been through bits throughout his media career. Robbo, did you have anything that you wanted to say to Tully while we have this moment?
All I want to say is I love everybody on this podcast, especially Reggie. Sorry, Reggie. How do I do it? Reggie.
Point the other way.
No, Reggie's my favourite.
Yay!
Well,
but also, can I say quickly?
He doesn't have anything nice to say about me.
Tully, I love you. You know I love you. I've said it so many times at barbecues, at family roasts. I've said that so many times. But the person I'm really interested in talking to is a current housemate. His name is Shane. Shane, welcome to the Ben, Rob and Robbo show.
Thanks for having me.
Shane.
We're so excited to have you. I've got to ask you a question. You've been in the show for a long time, really. When you think about it. Who would you vote out right now? Who would you vote out right now? Tell me right now.
Right now, next vote.
Right now, this moment.
Chuck him out.
Right.
Get him.
Chuck him. I'd have to chuck out probably Matt.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Matt.
Thank you there.
Get rid of Matt.
Snake.
Who is Matt?
Snake.
Yeah, I'd get him out.
I don't care.
To mix it up a little bit.
Yeah, sorry, Shane, I've got to ask you. There seems to be a thing. Are all the boys allergic to shirts in the house? Because everyone seems to be shirtless all the time. What's happening there? Is there a problem?
I'm here for it.
I think, are we getting into that cake and donut conversation again? I don't know.
Hey, I've had Xavier in my DMs, so I'm happy with that.
Oh, really? Oh, I want to know more about that. Look,
it was hot.
Shane, I really want to.
It was.
Shane, I want to ask
February.
you. Well, yeah. Look, I think, Shane, I want to ask you a few quick questions. And I thought that you were really authentic in the show. I felt as though we didn't get to see you enough. But, I guess this time around, it's a tighter series. A lot of people were asking me when they knew I was talking to you tonight, are you upset with the amount of boxes that you had stacked versus the amount of boxes that Matt had stacked? Because I've never, in this series, I've never had so many people hit me up for this question. Was that a contentious issue for you that maybe he should have tried to stack more boxes and maybe the situation would be different?
as you know, when you get out in your first day of eviction, you just hit a lot of media outlets and you hit the ground running. And that was one of the questions that kept coming up today. Do you think you were robbed about the whole box thing because you had 15 and he didn't even try to put his 14 on? They should have made him put his 15th on, and if he fell, then it was a tie and all this sort of stuff. Yeah, so there was a lot of action for this challenge.
Well, I think that it was a little bit disappointing. How much of, I mean, there's been some talk in the media over the last 2 days about all the housemates this year being in a group chat and discussing the show as the show is happening. And, you know, I find that, is there a chat that's happening? Is everyone chatting on some group message?
Yeah, there is. I'm not going to lie about that. Yeah, there is. There's a group chat that happens throughout the series. It started off with everybody in the group chat, and now it's just got down to a group chat.
Oh.
So,
Who was the first to leave? Who's the first to leave the group chat?
I think people left the group chat because it was. I'm just trying to think who actually was the first to bow out of the group chat.
I've heard this from Kieran.
Yeah, I'm just trying to remember who bowed out
No
of the chat.
Name and shame. Get to the point.
I'm just
Why
trying-
am I
We weren't even
going
allowed to
here?
nominate for this long.
No,
Dude,
you
there was-
can name Tully.
Get Tully to do it. She knows.
You dodged a bullet. You're dodging a bullet.
Thanks, mate.
Why are
Yeah,
people
thank you.
leaving, Shane? Are they leaving this group chat because they're not in the show anymore and it's totally irrelevant to them, or they're just not happy with the conversation?
I think it's a mix of both. You know, I really do. I think it's a mix of both. A little bit from column A and a little bit from column B. Like the chat does get a bit, you know, heated sometimes, and people have got enough things going on with their lives without having to listen to it.
Hard.
So that's why I think a lot of people have bowed out and just decided to see each other at the finale.
And Shane, we always talk about the depiction in the house. You weren't seen that much in the first few episodes, but you certainly came through strong when you were leaving. You weren't quite as minimalistic as Xavier, but were you happy with your depiction in the house?
Yeah, because I came in late, I think I did was a bit quiet in the first few episodes anyway, just because the alliances were so strong and I didn't know where I was going to fit in, and I really had to hit the ground running. So I just wanted to try and make these great rapport and these great friendships with people, so I wasn't the last in, first out sort of thing. So I sort of did lay back for the first few days anyway, until I got some really strong relationships going, and then I thought I can start to play.
You know, I just wondered, this might be a really quick, fun game for everybody involved, but Shane, who is the most famous person that has slid into your DMs to talk about your time on the Big Brother house?
The most famous?
Yeah.
Most famous person? I get to talk to a lot of people here on the Gold Coast, so yeah, I'm friends with a lot of surfers.
Oh yeah, you're actually friends with some celebrity surfers. Well, I should call them sports athletes. Is that right?
Yes, I am.
Oh look, come on! I'm trying to cut the bullshit right now. I was told by someone that you've got a lot of celebrity friends, so I need you to tell me who they are. I've already got a list of them, so I'm just going to start reading them out. Like I'm holding you at ransom.
Okay.
Just give me two of your famous friends.
You tell me, and I'll nod and smile.
Well, who lives on the Gold Coast? Mick Fanning.
He's very well media.
Yeah, I'm mates with Nick. Yeah, I'm mates with
I
Nick.
need to come and see you. You're only down the road, eh, Shane? I'm on the Gold Coast.
Yeah.
I can come and see
I'm just
you.
down.
We should catch
I see
up.
a
Yeah,
boozy
cool.
drinking night happening.
That sounds like fun.
Oh, that's it.
Reggie,
I was
promise you.
good friends with Bree Amer, the old ex-housemate, Bree.
Oh,
She was
Bree.
my
Love her.
dream last night.
So,
Oh.
yeah, Bree and I
that a
used
good
to
trip?
work together at yeah. Oh, that sounds interesting.
That's sassy.
Donuts and cake. Donuts and cake.
Well, Shane, we are thrilled that you are here tonight. And as we are with you too, Tully, we have a lot to recap on tonight's episode. And we begin by talking about the big issue for tonight. And for that, we're going to Robbo.
Cool.
Well, we've seen, Rob, thank you very much. We've seen a lot of alliances made, formed and broken, promises made, lies told, but there has been one housemate that has been on everyone's lips. Guess who it is? Have a look.
So yesterday, I made a deal, the big boys and Casey, to work with them. And then Matt put me up for eviction. He told me it was just his strategy. I get it, but it was so tight between myself and Shane. So to me, that's very dangerous.
After your nomination yesterday, do you feel like you can trust them?
Well, it's called faith, all right? Faith is just taking a step, even when you don't know where that step is, but just taking a step. And that's what I've done in this game. And I'm not veering, okay? I'm gonna...
I've got to say that my niece, my 3-year-old niece, her birthday today, happy birthday, Quinn, was saying that she loved Angela, but she was kind of saying to her, maybe faith is not enough to save her. There's got to be more. Let's have a look.
After a good chat with Dan last night, it's sort of become evident that I think it's time to flip on Ange. I think it's time to try and get rid of her.
Toothbrush, the way she's doing.
Reggie, I've got to ask you, is this surprising at all for you? Obviously, he's had to flip on her, but hasn't he already flipped on her before? What are your thoughts on the nominations process?
Oh, they're all liars. They all tell lies. Yeah. No one's truthful. They're all liars. And who surprised me tonight was Sophie, how much she lied as well.
Oh.
That's going to come back and bite her in the ass big time.
Sorry, Reggie, I'm gonna really quickly, I'm gonna ask Reggie and Shane a question. Name one thing that we would remember about someone called Sophie. Who is Sophie?
Oh,
Robbo.
Yeah, right.
Showman. She's the me. She's the me of the year.
Go, Shane.
Yeah.
Go, Shane.
She slept next to me with Chad.
What was that like?
Well, that seemed to work everything out, and I'm glad that, I'm glad that we were challenged.
My spidey senses are tingling. There's a headline coming here. Shane, how much naughtiness was there in that bed?
There was a few nights where I had to tell the kids to calm down. I'm an old dad. I need me beauty sleep. So yeah, I had to get the not too much in the dancing doona, but yeah, there was some heavy petting going on some nights. Yeah, for sure.
There was definitely.
This is why I miss Uncut.
Yeah, this is old mate. I'm glad there's no Uncut. Hey?
Uncut. Bring it back. Bring back
said
Uncut.
live porn. You've got a show happening for you live. I think
It
it's
was
something
definitely live.
What people don't talk about, though, about Big Brother, and I just want to spoil this, I think I was in the only Big Brother that they classified as PG. The one after me was M-rated. I don't know why they chose these different classifications.
You're welcome,
but they
guys. You're welcome.
Well, no, they gave it the classification higher the next year, not before the show even started. So it wasn't a matter of the content that, the point that I'm trying to make before I swallowed a frog was that every year of Big Brother, no matter whether it goes for 6 weeks or it goes for 13 weeks, the same stuff happens every time. If you put humans in a house together, they're going to do all the weird, crazy things that you do in the real world. Like, it's just going to happen.
Definitely.
And then Big Brother chooses to show certain things. So, like, I remember in 2005, it was known as the sexy year. And everyone was like, oh, that year they were pretty horny, weren't they? And I was like, no, that same stuff happened in my year. It's just that the editors didn't choose to show that sort of stuff. So look, I saw some pretty outrageous things in the nighttime. Yeah, that's for sure.
Well, you heard about your night activities last night, Ben, although you were by yourself.
Yeah, but Michael Beveridge is a liar. He's a
No,
liar.
he's not.
He's not on the show tonight. I gotta go. Michael's friends with Tully. Tully will end up telling him. No, he's a liar.
I love Michael.
I know you do. He loves you.
Oh,
You have a good
we had for some reason the guys in our year all made some weird pact really early on that they wouldn't masturbate. And then it was kind of like a competition as to who could last the longest.
Wow.
And they didn't all last the longest. There were some interesting tactics taken with that one. A lot of
Tell
reverse
us.
cowgirling the toilet seat. Well, like,
Oh,
so
yeah.
I think it was Matt. Was wearing a robe, like a satin dressing gown, and then sat on the toilet seat but faced the wall. So he was backwards on the toilet. So because the camera's in front of you, right? So when you sit down on the toilet, our camera anyway was here, right?
Oh, right.
So he faced this way on the
Cut to Reggie's
toilet
face.
and did his stuff that way. So the camera couldn't really
Sorry.
see.
Sorry,
Ours is
Tully, can I
behind us in
quickly
the
ask you,
toilet.
are you familiar with the term reverse kanga?
Reverse kanga.
Wait.
No, I mean,
Wait. Okay, so Tully, you're not. Shane, I loved your giggle there. If you could tell all of us and our other panelists, what is a reverse kanga?
It's when you sit on the toilet seat the opposite way and face the dunny and take a shit.
Oh my God, Shane is my favorite person. Hey guys, we were talking about that. This is where we go. We bring real
hang on.
stuff.
Wait, why would you do that?
Yeah, why is this a thing?
Why
don't
would
know.
you do that?
It's just a clever name for a
It's just a
position.
thing. It's just a thing, Shane. That's right. Yeah, Shane is a man of the people. I've got to say that. Now,
I heard
The
of
reason Matt was
yeah.
doing that. Like, because Matt
Sorry.
wasn't
Bit of
really
a
hide
reverse
the camera.
cowgirl thing.
I can't
Our
imagine
camera-
that, Reggie, you don't know what a reverse kanga is.
I've heard of reverse cowgirl. I think that's
Of course you have.
No.
Of course you have, girl.
No.
And you
Anyway, let's pretend that we're not
watching at
live now. Yep, let's pretend we're not live. Here we go in 3, 2. Tully, this is obviously a huge part of Big Brother. How hard is it to believe that people will do what they say or stick to their word?
Oh my God, I'm so glad that we didn't have this whole new format where you can talk out loud and strategize, because I would have been so anxious and so paranoid the entire time. Like, there's no way I could have. I didn't believe Tim when he said what he had for breakfast that morning. So there's no way I would have been able to believe him when he was telling me that he was nominating for other people. Like, there's just no way. I would have found it really stressful.
But can I ask something? If I can ask to, all of the previous Big Brother housemates, what we're seeing here is this weird kind of love relationship where we're all friends and I'm going to help you and I'm going to help you. It's not real, is it? That, when it comes down to it, when it comes down to that 250,000, you're going to throw anyone under the bus. Is that right?
To me, and again, it's early days still, and I'm sure we'll see a bit more of them as the time goes on, but to me, they don't seem as close as we were. Like, we were legit family. Like, I read an article saying that, like, they made a deal where the guys wouldn't be in the bathroom when the girls were showering. Like, we were, like, sharing showers. I don't know. I just feel like they're not as, maybe because they are able to strategize and talk about nominations out loud, they've maybe got a few more walls up, so they're not really opening themselves up to
very guarded,
truly connecting. Yeah, exactly. So we didn't have that. So we were able to kind of really, I don't think any of them in there, Marissa voted for fucking Angela tonight. What the fuck? That was necessary.
Oh my goodness. Sorry. We're trying to do a PG show here, sweetheart. That's too much. That's too many F-bombs. We're not going to get past
Reggie was
that.
swearing, hence we have a drink.
No, she's been a very good girl.
Tully. Keep going.
But can I
Keep going,
ask?
Tully.
But can I ask though? This is the big thing. I can't believe in 2020 that we're still debating this. This is the big thing. Big Brother sees and hears everything, including what she was saying. What this next housemate.
If we play our cards right and work together, we can have a chance of actually having a real crack on Ange.
I don't know if it's too soon,
You gotta get rid of her. I really need everyone on board to get rid of Ange. Got the chance to get this done. It'd be silly not to take it.
Talk about house harmony and love. I mean, Ange and Marissa, they're the ones that get around bed, always with each other, always scheming.
Just the fact that she's in there talking to us and she's out the back talking to someone else.
Ooh.
Ange is here.
I love that.
I know what that
was
feels
gold.
like.
Well, there you go. So, Marissa, the aerobics kind of, god, she's always listening. What do you think about that, Shane? You've been in the house with her. Is she playing the secret game? And I don't like a secret game.
Oh, mate, everyone in there is playing a secret game. That's what happened to me. Maddie was over, watching me scam with Chad when I was trying to get some sexy time with Chad in the bed and do our little thing.
Wait. Sorry. Sorry. Alert. I'm so sorry. Yeah, we've got to have a trigger warning there, Shane. I understand. I thought you were married, but you were having some sexy time with Shane.
I was just trying to get Sophie jealous, so I jumped in the bed with Chad. She didn't like it.
Good work. Yeah, I like that.
But yeah,
I like that.
But Maddie was behind me, listening to our conversation, trying to strategize to get him out as well. So yeah, I know what it feels like to be eavesdropped on. Everyone's sort of got that house has got ears everywhere.
So Shane, can I ask you though? Sorry, Reggie. Sorry, you go.
No, that night, Shane did that because you went into the diary room because you couldn't sleep. What was playing on your mind that kept you awake for you to go and do that?
Hey, Reggie, I was always up in the mornings, always up early. If they showed the real footage, you would have seen me up at 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning every morning walking around that house by myself. And when people would go to the bathroom, I used to jump out and scare the shit out of them and everything. It was great fun. But
really?
You don't see any of that.
See, this is what
sucks.
This is why this year sucks.
This is frustrating. It's frustrating.
This is what we want to see. Like what that gives you guys all. That makes you all human. That gives us context. That shows your personality. We haven't seen any of that.
I know. But yeah, I was up that morning in particular. But as you guys know, Big Brother doesn't tell you the time either. So on the show, he said it's 3:30 in the morning. But in real life, when I was there, he didn't tell me the time. He just told me to go back to bed.
Yeah, I remember at our rap party, we were speaking to either a cameraman or a producer, and he was like, "You guys were the worst. Like you wouldn't know it, but you'd all still be outside chatting away, and it would be like 3:30 in the morning, and we're all in the control room being like, can these guys just bloody go to bed? And we're just not. I thought it was like midnight max, and it was like they'd sometimes send us to bed. They'd sometimes be like, okay, guys, like enough's enough. And we'd be like, what time is it? No idea. It was really...
Shane, can I ask you really quickly, Shane, if I can ask you, the editing of this show is very different from what we've seen in the past. How does it affect your time in the house? You've obviously been out of the house. We know that it's pre-recorded. What is it like to watch it back, though? Tell me about that experience.
So obviously I don't know what's going to be played or how I'm going to be edited or how they're going to perceive me or how the public's going to perceive me as well, So my narrative was pretty good. I came out looking great, you know what I mean? Like I feel as though they edited me really well, and but on the other hand, they've got Maddie and Dan looking like the villains as well. So, and I thought in the house they were quite funny guys. But they haven't shown any of that either. So.
Sorry, Shane, I just want to say to you right now, I voted for you. I think you're the winner. I don't know who you're talking about, just so you know that. Welcome. I hope you're going to be a permanent fixture on the Island Big Brother Ben, Rob and Robbo Show podcast. Will you come back?
And Shane.
Well,
Shano, I can call you Shano. No worries at all. Robbo, Shano, no worries.
Well, I tell you what, Shane, I'll make it very easy. You can come back on the other side of this break because we are going to take a quick break and we are going to talk challenges, nominations and evictions when the Ben, Robin, Robbo show, I on Big Brother returns, and we'll get more from Tully too. We'll be right back.
Robin Robbo.
Streaming across the globe, Ben Norris, Rob McKnight, and David Robinson.
Ben, Robin Robbo. News, reviews, entertainment too. It's the Ben, Robin Robbo. Ben, Robin Robbo show. Ben, Robin Robbo show.
The Ben, Robin Robbo Show, Monday to Thursday at 1 p.m, right here on Ticker TV.
Well, you might be wondering what's going on. I'm literally trying to load up the feedback there because we desperately want to do some feedback. So, Tully, let me ask you while I'm trying to get the feedback on. So this is the magic of internet television. You're
doing well. You're doing well, Rob.
So, Tully, let me ask you, when you look at this crop of housemates and the format of the show, would you have survived in this version of the show? Would you have had the strategy and would the smarts to keep going?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I didn't have a game plan. I didn't think about the money. I didn't think, even when I was nominating, I didn't think, okay, so-and-so probably going to vote Michaela, so I'll go Michaela. I was just like, who's annoyed me the most this week? On top of that, as we know, had we been in charge of evictions, which the housemates this year are, I was up nearly every week. So I probably would have gone week 2, 3 or 4. So there's no way I would have survived. Also, I'm terrible with physical challenges. I won 1 Friday night games on pure luck. I don't know how the hell I did that, but yeah, there's no way. There's no way. I would have I'd be out before Shane, that's for sure.
So if I could ask you a question, playing this game, Tully, if it's all about talking about who you're going to nominate. That was always a rule that you couldn't justify before.
I got a strike for that.
That's right, you did. That's right.
Strike.
So if you were in this house now, looking at who's left, who would you go for, and why?
Who would I nominate?
Yeah, and why? And why?
Have I done my version of the show already, or am I going as a fresh housemate?
You're going into this housemate right now with all of these housemates that are currently in there now. With your experience from being in the house before, who would you nominate and why? Sorry, hold on. This is Big Brother. Tully, it's time to nominate.
God, that's awful.
Who would you nominate and why?
Wait, was that you?
Yes, that was Robert. Yes,
that sounded like Leon. That sounded like my big brother. Oh my god, I was like,
Tully, please nominate and tell us why.
Okay.
You nominate.
Wait, we only get the one. Wait, we only get the one nomination, right? I don't get to have my 5 points, do I?
I'm so sorry, Tully. You are really back-chatting at the moment to Big Brother. If you could just give us what your nomination and why.
Okay. You know what? I'd still, despite this new format, despite what we're supposed to be doing, despite the game I'm supposed to be playing, I'd still want to have the people around me in the house that make my time the most enjoyable. And I think that the group that I'd be getting along with would be the Daniels and the Matts. So I would probably be voting up Marissa next.
Mm-hmm. Tully,
100%.
Thank you very much.
Can I just quickly jump in, Robbo? Robbo,
yeah.
Can you
please? This is Ben. Ben, please go to the diary room.
It sounds
Can I just say I was just
similar.
I know. I was so good. Hey, I just want to quickly say that, and I think maybe this has a lot to do with being a previous Big Brother housemate, and I'm sure the previous Big Brother housemates would agree. But watching Marissa not support Angela and giving that point was the most grating thing I've ever seen. Like, I literally took my little Nana blanket off my legs and threw it at the TV because I was so angry. I was like, how is it possible?
She said it was
sorry,
strategy, didn't she? Like that she had to be seen to full. But you know what? I've got the feedback working, and thank you to all the feedback that tell me my mic was low. Hopefully it's a bit better now. I'm turning myself on. I mean, up.
Life is there.
All right, let's get into
Sorry, Rob. All you've got to do is just go really close to the mic. Deep throat the mic. Here we go. Go.
This is Big Brother.
No, okay, right. Go back to what we were doing. In 3, 2, 1, go.
The show's starting again.
Regarding Tully, this lady does not age.
Still late.
Declan says Tully easily one of the best contestants in Australia. And actually on the game of Big Brother, Dylan says Matt has certainly come out to play in the last couple of episodes. Steve says, I'll just tell you what they're saying because it's not coming up. Reggie's the true queen of Big Brother. Illy says, Tully, you were great value in the show. We all made mistakes years ago. Illy also says, I love Robbo, so good seeing him again and hearing from him again, so funny. Mary says, oh no, it's going to be about wanking again. I think that's the show.
Yes!
Ray says, lol, Reggie looks confused. And Tracy has a good question that I'm going to throw to you, Shane. Would the contestants have been briefed on the change of format before they enter the house? Could that influence contribute to the style of gameplay this time around? This is a really good question, Shane. Did you know about
That's
the
what I
change of
wanna know.
format?
Well, did we know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We knew, they told us it was going to be a different format. They didn't explain how different or what it was. So,
Shane,
yeah,
if you
it was...
TVBlackbox.com.au, you would have known. Just saying.
Sorry, sorry, Shane, if you could talk into camera and just say tvblackbox.com.au, go for it, mate.
TimmyBlackbox.com.au.
Good man.
Yeah!
All right, look, we are so behind.
Shameless
It has
plug.
gone off the rails. Look, let's get into our final recaps, and I'm going to power through a couple of things here. Well, in yet another task involving balls, Big Brother loves his balls, housemates had to keep their balls intact in order to sleep inside the house. If your ball was popped, you were sent to camp outside. This challenge brought out an unlikely prankster.
Oh, you got the wrong footage.
Yeah.
This task is going to be so much fun. I want to pop everybody's balls.
Die!
Stay away from me, Xavier. Don't. Oh!
Why me?
You called him a pussy.
Yeah.
Hannah's balloon pops. Xavier, your balloon was broken during combat.
Bang! That's the way the cookie crumbles. What a great way to exit, you know? A blaze of glory. If I'm up on the nomination couch or popping everybody's balloons, so be it. You know, honestly, it was so much fun.
Ben, we've met Xavier.
Yeah, but you know what's
true?
I know what I think. You
He's
guys are
so
giving him
yummy.
so-
Like, yum.
Yeah, I was going to say, he kind of reminds me of Ryan Gins. Don't you think, Tully? Can you see a bit of Ryan there? What you didn't see off camera was a bit of a wink from Tully there, which was an acknowledgement. Actually, Tully, have you ever met Ryan before? Are you friends?
Yeah. We're friends.
Okay, good. Alrighty. Yeah, look, it's so
Good chat.
lovely.
All right. Right, Xavier annihilated a lot of the housemates, but Sophie was still left in the game. Well, not for long.
And Sophie.
Oh, Sophie!
Oh, Sophie's out.
Sophie out of the challenge from popping her own balloon.
Oh my God, Sophie!
Ah, you're the best, darling.
Sophie is the only one I would expect that from. Maybe Chad would be the other one. And with just Angela, Marissa and Matt left in the challenge, Big Brother gave Matt a secret task.
In front of you is a needle in a box to help you with your task. You have the remaining hour to complete this mission. Achieve this and be the last housemate standing with their balloon intact, and you will be king of the house. And as a reward, you can select any housemate of your choice back inside the house.
Oh, you're an evil man, big brother.
Matt, do you wish to accept this mission?
Yeah, we're on. I accept it.
Oh, here he is.
What did he say?
No, just said, how am I going with it? And am I going to take the piss out of the people that are out? But I don't want to do that. That's not me.
I have to say, all right, I might be the unpopular person in the room, but Reggie, this just shows me what an arsehole Matt is. No, I'm sorry. There were 3 people, or was it 4? Sorry, 3 or 4 still in the game, and he decided, 3 people, he decided to pop Marissa and Angela's balloons so that he could bring back Dan. This guy's all about himself. This guy's a guy who says, We'll make a deal with you, Angela, and then the day later he's saying, oh, it's time to flip on Angela. Time to flip? You barely cooked the sausages, let alone flip them over. Matt is a disgrace. Well, he's playing his game, but I tell you, Matt, you are not winning the $250,000 because Australia can see through you, big fella. Market Hill, I'm all man of the people. What do you reckon, Reggie?
You also have to remember, Big Brother had his hand in this part. Big Brother gave it to him on a
Matt had his choice to say, thank you, Big Brother, but I ain't doing that. I'm going to see this out with these 2 people. They've earned it. They deserve it.
Right. Oh, okay. Sorry, he had a choice.
Yes.
So he was being a prick then, yeah.
Yes.
Okay. A prick.
That's a drink.
Literally a prick. Yeah. So he went and...
Can we just...
Okay.
Can we just for a minute, compared to our challenges, have they got $5 budget a week? They've just attached balloons to them.
What are you talking about? We had boxes the whole day. We were fine.
Well, they've spent all the money on the big eviction challenges, and then they're doing balloon popping challenge. It does sound ridiculous when you say it.
Hang on. Wait, pause. Hang on. The eviction challenges, a bunch of recycled cardboard boxes painted blue and pink.
Yeah.
Where's the money going?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
We have. Do you guys not remember? We had a car wash. We were in a rock band.
True.
We had costumes every week. We had different costumes that fit us that were made to our measurements. This is bullshit.
Yeah.
What are these challenges?
You know what, Tully? I want to say something to you.
Can't
argue.
argue.
What it reminds me of? Do you know what it reminds me of is, do you remember when you were in high school and the Christian groups would come around to your school and at lunchtime they'd have a little fun room where they'd play some fun games where everyone could voluntarily be there. And they'd be like, stick Milo in your mouth, and who could keep the Milo in the mouth, and put these balloons next to you, and whoever drops the balloon.
How many marshmallows in your mouth can you fit at once? And then say chubby Milo.
What school did you go to?
That is a very good question, Reggie. Very good question.
Did they do the snow?
I went to Doncaster Secondary College.
They did the snow challenge and thought, oh, that's it. There goes the prop budget. We're done now. We're out. We're out of money.
I was very happy to come into the box challenge and lay in a box with Marissa for 5 hours. That was great.
I bet you were.
Shane,
so painful.
You weren't here when we talked about that yesterday, but oh my God, what you had to put up with. She just talked non-stop at you. You didn't need to do anything. If I was you, I'd put a podcast on at night to help me sleep. I swear to God, with Marissa there telling her stories, I would have been asleep in 5 minutes. I would have got through that challenge easily because I just would have slept with her talking in the background.
Yeah. Well, I was trying to
you
sleep,
weren't allowed
but
to sleep.
No, in the box, he couldn't see you. But, he could hear you if I started to snore. He'd go, wake up, Shane. Like, no, I'm not.
Sorry, Shane, can I ask you really quickly?
Yep.
Who farted first?
Dan.
No, in your box.
In your box.
Definitely Marissa. Oh, Marissa, for sure.
Yeah, of course. She's a loose cannon. I believe that. You're a gentleman. You wouldn't have done it. I appreciate that.
All right. Well, look.
It's not working out.
If we move back onto the challenge, Remember where we were last time? Matt had popped the balloons of Marissa and Angela. So that meant Angela, the queen herself, had to sleep outside. It was her first time camping. She wasn't going to let anyone forget it.
I've never gone camping.
Everyone else, sleep tight until sunrise.
Are you kidding me? Oh, the smell.
Just chuck it in the box.
What is that in the flowers? No, I can't. This is unacceptable, hey? Oh, don't come down! Oh, there's an animal! Oh my gosh, please don't come down. Did you see it? This is not my life. This is not my life. I'm sorry. I'm never going camping again. It's ridiculous.
I really love her. Surprisingly, even for a first-time camper, there was one simple piece of gear that Angela just didn't recognise.
Oh, is that a blanket?
No, it's a sleeping bag, Ange.
So you go in here, you open up,
and go
it
in
zips
there.
down, and you head there.
Oh, thanks, darling. I'm not in my comfort zone, hey?
Thanks.
I love this. I love it. I love it. I love it.
I'm so sad she's gone. Like, honestly,
Oh, me
she
too.
was holding it together. He was holding it together. I'm really like, now what? Like, unless we're going to see some more of the romance or something. Like, I'm bored already.
What were they eating in the tin? In that tin of food? Were they eating pow? What were they eating?
I hope so, Reggie. I really, really, really,
Now,
really
that's an
hope
endorsement I can get behind. Tonight's Camp Out brought to you by Pal. Tasty.
It's so tasty you can carve it
What
on
is
a
it?
pizza.
6 out of 10 pensioners can't be wrong.
Oh, that's too close to home there, Robbie.
It was. That was my social media commentary for the night.
Oh, my goodness.
Social commentary. Anyway, I think I've stunned the panel there. Let's move on to the nominations. And tonight's nomination challenge was all about sheer endurance. And with plans already in place, the stakes were high. Housemates had to press their feet up against a cylinder, holding it against a block for as long as they could bear it. With her future in the house under threat, Angela tried to go to her happy place that has won her challenges before. But in the end, it was Sophie. Yes, Sophie who pushed through the pain and outlasted her fellow housemates. Sophie, the first time, then had the power to nominate. And boy, did she go for it.
The first person who I want to put up for eviction is Ange, because she is the biggest threat to my competition. She's mentally and physically strong, and I see her taking out everyone. So while I have the chance now, I want her out. But the second person I want to put up is Kieran. Kieran is a threat to my competition because I don't know where I stand. He could wipe me out in a second if he wanted to. And the third person I want to put up is Casey. This is because I need Ange out and no one's going to vote Casey out. So she is just a safe vote.
Shane, seeing
Yes.
Sophie nominate for the first time, does her sort of like, I'm in charge attitude surprise you in there?
Yeah, that did surprise me seeing that tonight, because usually she's just really sort of laid back and listens to what happens around her, but she hasn't been a massive figure in the house. But she sort of strutted down the bloody hallway with arms back and chest out. And she was like, I'm playing my game. This is going to be for me. And I was like, wow, I was really surprised.
Ben, when you're nominating in this position, you have to be strategic. Did Sophie make good choices, do you think?
Yeah, look, I think I really rate Sophie. I know that she's not being seen a lot, but I think she's playing a good strategy. I think when it comes down to it, and you know, Tully will probably say the same thing, because I think she had a very similar strategy to, say, Michael Beveridge and myself, and that is that I think at the end of the day, you want to keep the people that you like in the house, and you want to get rid of the people you don't like. And I think that's basically what she's doing, which, by the way, is a really authentic way of playing the game. And at the end of the day, these housemates need to understand that whilst they are playing a strategy-based game, the public is going to give $250,000 to the person who's, you know, the miscongeniality. You know, like, it's going to be to the person who played the game and did it honestly. So, you know, at the end of the day, I'm really starting to struggle with the numbers as they dwindle and trying to compare who's going to be left in this finale and who I genuinely would feel like it's okay. And I feel like with Sophie, like, if she makes it to the finale, I don't dislike her. I feel like she's being real.
Yeah, I like her too, I've got to say. I wouldn't have a problem if she made it to the final 3. I'd actually probably be likely to vote for her because she's got her own mind. And if she... I like Sophie, I've got to say. Robbo,
Rob, I think we've missed a golden opportunity here to see strutting. I've never seen strutting better than what Shane just did. If Shane could just for the I Am Big Brother website, just go again. Shane, tell us or show us really that strutting.
So she strutted down the hallway.
Lots of shoulders, lots of arms. Okay, stop, please stop. I'm getting seasick. Sorry, Rob, back to you. Sorry, Shane. I'm going to stop you. Rob, back to you.
Well, look, we talked about trust earlier, and Matt had made. I'll get this shit back on course, don't you worry. We talked about trust earlier, and Matt had made the deal with Angela, but she's really feeling the heat and betrayal tonight.
You cannot understand my frustration with the boys right now. People in this house will tell you one thing. They make you sign a deal and then they flip. So I'm really, really furious.
With Angela's time in the house on the line, she hatched a plan with ally and fellow nominee Kieran.
In this house right now, I don't have the strongest alliance in numbers, but my thinking is target Casey.
I don't think anyone else is going to vote for Casey.
She's a very strong social player, so why not?
How many do we need? 10 people vote. 10 people vote, 5 each. 1, 2, 3. I need 3 other people and we can get Casey out.
When you're up against numbers, it doesn't matter how smart you are. You're going down. So it's crucial that Sarah, Hannah, and Chad votes with me tonight. I just need to get in their heads that Casey is actually a bigger threat than me.
Well, it was a risky manoeuvre, but with nothing to lose, Angela set out on her mission.
It's me, Kieran, and Casey. Have you looked at Casey as well? Do you know how many people she need an alliance with?
Yes, she might be more of a social threat than you are, but you're still a very big social threat.
100%. But I've always said I'm very loyal, so I want us to go as far as we can. If I was sitting on the other side, Casey, it's like she would just keep climbing up the ladder, because why? She will have the numbers. Can I tell you something maybe that you haven't realized? Have you looked at the bigger picture of, like, the numbers? If you don't win next week or the next one, who would have more of your back? Casey will have those 3 boys before she has your back.
We gotta start chopping down some big dogs. And I understand, I fully understand.
For all the talk of chopping down big dogs, they never do it. Reggie, did this have a hope in working? You know, could you imagine? I think of you all the time in this series because you're like, fuck it, whatever happens. You know, if you were nominated, that's my Reggie. I will say, my Reggie impersonation is very close to my Carlotta impersonation. Whatever the fuck, you know. Could you imagine, Reggie, if you were nominated, you would not be scrambling. You would just be like, you guys aren't going to fucking vote for me, are you?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I don't suck up anyone's asses. And that's why I never got anywhere after Big Brother. So, I'm not a brown noser.
No, you're not, Reggie, and that's why Australia loves you, and that's why if it was down to public voting, you would win again. That's just a simple fact. Tully, what would you be doing in here if you were nominated? would you be scrambling, or I feel like you'd have control of the house if you were in there. Forget the boys, forget the alphas. It'd be Tully's. I'm trying to think of alliteration, but I won't tell you what I thought of. It would be Tully's team. That's what it would be.
You know what? As much, I would be really upset as I was when I was up for eviction every week. I took it personally every time. But there's no way. I've got too much pride. I couldn't scramble even if I wanted to. In saying that, I'd like to think that I would have had the majority. I feel like I got along with most people. There were only maybe 2 or 3 people. There was only really one person in my entire season that I did not like. The rest, I was just like, you're like on the bottom of the list when I have to nominate. Like, I liked everyone in the house bar one person. So yeah, I'd like to think that I would have them. But I was up. No, it wasn't. That was Rohan. Fuck Rohan. Oh, like, why did you even apply? Like, just go away. Just evaporate already from my life.
Tully, can I just say, someone's tweeted in. Oh, sorry, it was via Facebook, and said Tully's Angels. I like that. You'd have your angels who'd all be voting your way.
That's funny considering I've been called Big Brother's bad girl for the last 7 years by the Daily Mail. Yeah, sure, we'll take angels.
Oh, don't worry about that. If you haven't been in the Daily Mail sidebar of shame, you're not anyone, really.
Tully's been in that sidebar for 7 years. They need to get a different story. I swear to God, it's so funny because Tully's doing this podcast with Mamma Mia. Every time I'm able to listen to it, I'm like, oh my God, she's brilliant. But the media doesn't like to cover something different. They always choose a narrative and they stick to it. It's just so hard for people to change.
It's always about my every single time. It's like I could dedicate my life to a charity. I could raise $1 million for something. But the articles are always about me and my ample assets. That's it. Like,
they're good.
My ample assets. That's all I care about. They're mine, by the way. They're real. There's been rumors, but they're real.
It sounds like a Seinfeld episode. They're real and they're fabulous.
I was offered a free boob job in Thailand. They're not huge. They're just nice. But I Sky Wheatley. The boob job Sky Wheatley, who was on this season after me. No, I don't need them. Reggie. I don't need them. I've got great tits.
Fake ticks.
I will just quickly say, Tully.
Suck. Just start putting it out
there
to the men.
Is it getting hot in here?
Check out Reggie's tits tonight. Reggie, move back a bit.
Reggie's tits are great.
I know.
Yeah. I'm not allowed to look. I've got my wife literally sitting right here beside me.
No, look, after having kids, they're hanging down by my knees, to be honest. I've got to put that bar on.
Oh, dear.
Oh, okay. All right. Oh, Robbo. Shane. If I took my top off, you would see straight through me. I'm so translucent. But look, there's actually been a good question here. We've got 4 ex-housemates, and I'm quickly going to go through the room before we get to the eviction. Mary is asking any hints for applying for Big Brother. We know that this week applications opened up for the new housemates in 2021. Shane, I'll come to you first. What is your biggest piece of advice for getting through the audition process?
In this format, you've got to have a thick skin, you know what I mean? And don't take things to heart. So you've got to play a sort of a non-emotional game if you're going to win this format of Big Brother, I reckon.
Okay. Tully, what was your advice for getting through the auditions? What do you need to do to stand out?
Do you know what? I'm probably the worst person to be asking because I was so hungover on audition day that I was really disinterested. I think when you're in a room full of people trying to be on a show, everyone's trying really, really hard, right? So everyone is trying to be the loudest version of themselves, the funniest version of themselves. They're trying to have the most outrageous story. And I kind of just found that really overwhelming. And I kind of just sat back and was like, this is just too much. And I think, weirdly, that made me stand out. So I know it's a cliche, but when I say be yourself, what I mean is don't try so hard. Like, literally just go in there and try to act as if you would act at a dinner with 24 of your friends. I mean, it definitely helped. I had Tim Dormer in my audition group, and we would just argue the entire time.
No, that helps.
So that probably helped my case. But yeah, I honestly, when I say be yourself, I just mean like, just don't try to be this like super animated version of yourself. I was literally like this. I was so hungover. I was like this in my seat. I was like, yeah, like fuck this. Like, what? I don't even care.
Bloody hell.
And that got me through.
Well, fabulous. What about you, Ben? What's your advice?
Look, I think it's just being able to what Tully's saying is absolutely right. Absolutely. You know what? That's actually a really good point. You know, Tully, you know, you're absolutely right. I audition. A lot of people talk about this. On Elder Sibling, they were talking about this today. Reggie was talking about it with Rod. And I did apply 4 times. And the biggest mistake I made the first 3 times not getting through was doing exactly what Tully was just saying. And I tried to be the loudest person in the room. The last time I auditioned, I was my true self, and I will tell you that I've run into people that were in that audition group, and they said how much they hated me, which means that it was pretty accurate because I'm a very polarizing person. And the interesting thing about that is that, you know, I am a polarizing person. I would say more people hate me rather than like me, but I will say I'm very authentic. I am my own self, and I have to own that. And that's exactly how I got onto the show, which is a really good thing to say to people. You can be a good person, you can be a bad person, but if you're just being truly who you are, the Australian public will like you, and so will the producers casting for this show. So don't try and be everything. Just be yourself, warts and all, and I think you'll go a long way. And good luck.
I think the best
good advice.
the best housemates have always been really flawed. Like, I was very flawed.
Yeah.
Reggie is really flawed. Ben, you're really flawed. Tim is so freaking flawed. And I think that's what Australia, you know, at least can connect to, because we've all got flaws and we're all, you know, flawed human beings. And I think that to make a good housemate, you've got to have a few flaws. So don't go in there and try to be this like shiny robot version of yourself, because it's just not going to work.
All right, Reggie, what's your advice?
Oh, tell them what you think of everyone. Like, just go in there and say he's a wanker and she's a dickhead and whatever, because that's what I did. And you know, mind and be, again, be yourself. And that's who I was. So,
well,
they saw something in me. You know,
yeah, absolutely.
Like the
well,
little girl, you know, from Tassie.
They saw what Australia saw, but Reggie, I've got to say, the lady who asked that question, Mary Matthews, has sent in something. You were talking about how low things are hanging these days. Mary says, I woke up with chest pains this morning, but looking down, I realised I was standing on my nipples.
Oh, that's me.
Fair enough.
Cakes and donuts.
Oh, there you go.
Ben.
Someone has just said to me, oh, is it the same person?
Cakes and donuts.
Goodness.
Hey, Steve?
Alex Mavrodakis?
Oh. No, I got it from someone who's his friend, so no.
There you go. Robbo, you had something?
Good point.
Yeah, I do, Rob. Thank you so much. If I could get Shane to say yes.
Yes.
Great. Reggie, say yes.
No, because that was a task and I had to say yes.
No, I'm just asking you. Can you say yes or no?
I'll go yes. Then.
Great.
Yeah.
Tully, yes or no?
I don't like being forced to do things. I don't like where this is going at all.
Cut Tully.
Yes.
Ben, yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. I say yes. Yes.
Robert McKnight,
I'm a yes man.
No?
I'll say I'll make the decision.
All right, what we're going to do is a Ben, Robin, Robbo show calendar, like we did before, where we were talking about like exposing yourself. It'll be the calendar. Hit your calendars. Everyone involved. Oh,
all right, Robbo.
Everyone keen to.
Rob, I think it's November being N-O. November for everybody. Put your tops back on and tell you're going to need more wine.
I think I need a little bit of manscaping before I do that, to be perfectly honest.
Sorry, everyone. Sorry, Rob. Back to you.
Back on the road.
All right. Well, if you can remember where we're up to, in what was a very intense and dramatic eviction, Angela really unleashed on the other housemates more than she ever has before. First, she started with Matt.
I thought you and Matt were friends.
We were until yesterday.
Unbelievable. Matt nominated you, then he popped your balloon.
I know, yeah. He's done a lot of things. I don't know what to think of this man. He's two-faced.
Then Chad was her next victim.
If you lie to too many people, you're going to end up on the couch. And that's just what Angela's done. Unfortunately, she's got a target on her back.
This is the most I've heard Chad talking, actually.
Oh my God, what the?
They talk a lot in the house, but when it comes to the main event, they don't have much to say. Try and keep it simple. We're in a game.
There's no doubt she knew she was going, because things only heated up from here as she took aim at her fellow nominee, Casey.
Would you rather the person that has worked the hardest or the safest to win that $250,000? I've played the game. I'm very loyal to everybody that I've said I'm loyal to. I didn't come here to play safe. He hasn't played safe. I want to sit here, final five or final whatever, with people that have earned and have played their game. So tonight, if I was sitting on the other couch, I would not save Casey tonight only because she's safe.
Screw you, man.
We came to play the game.
That's so
all I'm
rude.
saying.
That is so
I'm not
rude. How dare
attacking
you say I haven't earned my place here?
I'm just saying, I'm not attacking you.
That is so
I'm
rude.
saying
That's
my
so
view
rude.
of the game is, between the three of us, he has played the game more than you. And so have I. That's it.
It's just bull dust to say that I'm playing it safe when I'm not. I'm doing it my way, and I have earned my place, and I haven't been evicted. You have.
Just calm down. We're talking. It's not a boxing match, okay?
Oh my gosh. Yes, I talk game. I just don't talk it with her because I don't trust her.
I know who I can go and talk to. If I want to talk about a 10, I know I'll come to you.
Ben, Angela obviously knew she was going, right? And she was dropping the bombs.
Oh, absolutely. I think I said this the other day, and that is that in the history of any reality TV contestant saying game on moles, they always go home as soon as they say that. So, like, if you've ever seen that at any reality TV show, you see it in the future, you see them go, game on, moles. That means I've lost the game and I don't know what the game is and I'm going home. I'll pack my bags. Thank you very much. However, I will just quickly say something. Sorry, Tully.
Go, Ben. No, you
What
go,
was
Ben.
that? Oh,
No,
I
you
just
go.
was going to say, though, I absolutely was living for that moment because I thought Casey was fantastic in that moment. And if I'm going to call it, that is going to be my favorite interaction between housemates for 2020. I cannot imagine it getting any better than that.
No, I
thought
can't
that
either.
I
agree completely.
It was gold. I will watch it on repeat for the rest of my life.
question.
I'm there for the sass.
Yes,
Yeah, go
Tully, you had the floor.
Okay, so the question can't apply to anyone but Shane because Reggie and Ben both won their series. But tonight, Casey was talking about the fact that Angela mentioned to her that you just know when you're going to go, like you just have a feeling it's your time. I had that feeling. I spent the whole day telling Drew it was my time. It was my last time in the house. I felt really sad. I just knew. I just knew it was my night to go. Did you have the same feeling that day?
Yeah, straight up. I just said, I actually said
Yeah,
to
you
Chad
knew.
that, man, I said, I got that gut feeling, man, I'm going home. So, and
Yeah.
that's why I didn't scramble either. Like everyone scrambled, I just didn't. They had the numbers. I knew that I was on the chopping block because I tried to get Maddie out previously. So, yeah, I woke up. I was actually really shitty that day. And even Big Brother called me in because I was swearing too much. I was just off everything. So, yeah, I had a bad day in the
I
house.
feel like, I mean, even then, like you probably would have had a better understanding of you going because you can talk about nominations, whereas I was just going off I just felt that I'd been given too many second chances. Like I'd had too many, I'd been saved too many times, and I was like, nah, this is bound to be, like I can't be saved again. But I did watch tonight. I did watch tonight and think that's really interesting because I definitely knew I was going, and I wondered whether you felt the same way.
I was trying to throw Ange under the bus. That was my last ditch attempt to stay in the house in the eviction room. So I was still trying, but I was going down swinging.
Yeah, I like that.
At least you went down swinging.
Yeah.
Well, look, as suspected, it seems some bold claims from Angela did not go down with her housemate, so you can go out swinging as you tried, Shane, but Ange went to a whole nother level, and it really seemed to be the nail in the coffin for her.
Kieran, you received no votes. Casey, you received 1 vote. Angela, with 9 votes, you have been evicted from the Big Brother house.
Bye-bye.
I know I love you because I've got to stay in here.
Bye, bish.
Oh,
I
shut
always
up.
had a cup of tea before
You're full of
challenge.
shit.
So I think that was my secret weapon. Was the tea drinking and my lip gloss.
Shane, I just saw you there. You don't look like you were shedding any tears.
No, I don't feel at all remorseful for Anne's departure today.
But she made good TV. She was good TV.
Yeah, she's probably good to watch from the outside, but living with her, she was quite insulting. She's quite rude, you know. So yeah, maybe I'm sure she made great telly, but unfortunately, I was glad to see her go tonight.
It's an interesting perspective from being inside the house living with her. Reggie, will you miss Ange?
Well, I thought she was good TV. So, but then like hearing Shane say that, it's a different thing in the house to what's been shown to the public. So, I will miss her though. She was good. And if they get rid of Kieran, I think it's even going to be more boring.
Oh, Kieran's a troublemaker for sure.
Yeah, it's good though that he's a troublemaker. I love it.
Mm.
Yeah,
Well,
mate, Kieran's like he's a cockroach, mate. He'll outlive it. Don't you worry. He's a cockroach. as long as there's still cheese sandwiches in the microwave, mate, Kieran will still be there licking his lips.
Kieran, bless his
Tully?
cotton socks, likes to slide into my DMs post every episode to ask my thoughts on it. Like he'll have a big episode where he's pulled some strings. He'll be like, "What did you think of that move?" And I'm like, "Hi, Kieran, welcome back to my DMs."
Tully, you're so funny that you say. Tully, you're so funny that you say that because I remember I was been talking to Kieran for probably a week or so, and then we talked offline. We were talking about a different contestant. And then you said to me, Kieran's just slid into my DMs. Do I start talking to him or will he start and never stop? And I was like, oh, no, he's going to start and never stop. You enjoy that. And,
he's John O'Coleman.
Bless you. You've been talking to it's hard not to love him. I know. I really...
And you know what? He loves the show so much. Like he
does.
Like,
he lives for it.
I've always thought that you were the most obsessed band. Like in my mind, you were the crazy one. But now it's like maybe Kieran's more crazy than you. Like maybe this is
He's giving me a run for my money.
Norris.
But Tully, would you date him on the outside of the house?
I only have Ice and Xavier.
All right.
Very well played.
Thank you. That brings us to the end of Eye on Big Brother, a long edition. We've done an hour and a half, people. We've gone way over time. Amanda's demanding extra money, or maybe I'll be sleeping in another room tonight. I think I'll be sleeping in another room.
Wait,
David?
is there money here? Is there money?
No, that was just a figure of speech. It was a figure of speech. Shane, you have been absolutely fantastic. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Bloody legend.
Absolute legend. Tully, you are hilarious. And where can we find you on your Mamma Mia podcast? Do a plug.
Oh, it's all on my Instagram. So just follow at TEE_SMYTA.
There you go. That's
If
where you
you
can
want,
get all the
otherwise,
details.
just worry about it.
Thank you for some great conversation tonight.
Thank you, Tully.
Reggie, we love you, and we look forward to your
Reggie.
insights tomorrow. Lots of swearing, lots of drinking. We'll see you tomorrow night at 9:30, Reggie.
Oh, bugger.
Ben and
Reg.
Robbo, I will see you tomorrow at 1 o'clock for the Ben, Rob and Robbo Show as we stream live around the world through Ticker TV and at facebook.com/BRR Show or on Twitter at BRR Show. We will see you tomorrow. I'll get there in the end. Bye.
Rob and Robbo, Ben, Rob and Robbo.